Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the most improved brawlers within the meta and also the brawlers that kind of fell off. So if you guys weren't aware, I was away for around 3 weeks, so I haven't really played too much Brawl Stars, so it's a good refresher to also take a look back at the past meta. So first and foremost, we're going to be taking a look at probably the most improved brawler in the game right now, which is Buster. For me, has to be at least a top 10 brawler, probably pretty easily a top 5 brawler in the game right now. So this is pretty reflected in the recent competitive games. There was a lot of ESL and Queso Cup games, if you guys didn't know, their tier 1 events, and Buster was the 5th most picked / banned brawler within this competition. So just going to show how strong he actually is. The main reason why he's actually became such a strong brawler in the game is because of the gadget gear, allowing him to have 4 slow-mo replays. Not only that, he got a HP buff, I think, or a couple of updates ago, but he definitely got a damage buff this update. So all of these things combined have just made him so strong and such a menacing lane. It's just so hard to take down a Buster. So next up on the most improved list, we have Nanny. So Nanny has improved so much with, I would say, only a small damage buff, but this actually made her somewhat of like a C tier, well, she used to be a C/D tier brawler, all the way up to easily the A tier right now. So I mean, Nanny is absolutely insane. The stats to back this up, in ESL, she was used, I think, all banned the 11th most out of every single brawler inside of a game right now. So just going to show nearly within the top 10 range how strong she actually is. So the reason why she's actually just became so incredibly strong is because of the interaction changes, and also because shield gear isn't really too optimal for a lot of brawlers right now. So a lot of those sharpshooters, or just a lot of kind of mid-range, well, mid-HP brawlers in general, Nanny can 2-shot, 3-shot with ease, and it just makes her so deadly. And she's also a fantastic counter to a lot of the meta mids right now. So like Piper, for example, Nanny just absolutely destroys. So it definitely is a Nanny meta right now. So next up on the most improved list, we have Fang. So Fang was a brawler which I didn't really expect to become so strong. It was only a small buff to the amount of damage his super does. I think around 400 damage, but that just means that fresh kicks is just even better. If you remind yourself back to when Fang was so strong, it's because of how good his super damage was. So of course, Fang now pretty much is an A tier, even S tier brawler right now within the meta, and in competitive he was like the 13th most banned / picked brawler. So all the pros think he's very strong as well, and within Power League he's pretty much being used everywhere. He's such a dominant brawler to have, and also the extra gadget gear has definitely helped him out. Having 4 stuns really helps him in those 1v1s. He also got a small buff to his super charge rate from his super, so it's just made his super just being able to spam it out so quickly. It's ridiculous how strong Fang is right now. He definitely is one of the most improved. So moving on to one of the most improved brawlers in the game right now, we actually have Rosa. So a lot of people are still underestimating Rosa. They're saying that Rosa is probably like a top 20 brawler in the game right now. I'll still hold my case that Rosa is an S tier brawler for sure. She's so strong right now, and I've got the data to prove it. She literally was nearly the most picked / banned brawler in competitive in recent weeks. She was actually 2nd most, only Squeak actually being above Rosa right now. So there's a couple of reasons why she's so strong. Again, the extra gadget gear, having 4 bushes, is absolutely insane with a brawler like Rosa, and she's actually one of the best tanks to counter but some of the other tanks in the game right now. So you have Rosa versus Buster, for example. Rosa will just absolutely destroy Buster, and then you'll also have Fang as well. So just, if anything, the help of the other tanks getting better has made her better, if that makes sense. But it just overall, she's just so strong in so many different ways, and she definitely is one of the best brawlers in the game right now, constantly improving in the meta. And lastly, in the most improved list, we have Brawl. So even though Brawl really hasn't been played, I don't think he's been played at all in competitive. I just think he's improved vastly when it comes down to ladders. So a lot of people were expecting Brawl to be like an S tier brawler with his hypercharge, and of course if hypercharge was broken he would have been pretty strong, but hypercharge is somewhat relatively balanced, I would say. So it hasn't made Brawl crazy broken, but it's actually made him viable. So he's improved a lot in meta. Before he was completely useless. I feel like he's really strong as well because of Siege. Even though it's not competitive in game mode, in ladder he's just so ridiculously strong because you can just keep diving in on the Ike and getting so much damage. And of course, if you combine that with the hype charge, we're dealing the Ike will deal no damage to you, and you can get so many shots off onto that Ike Safe, of course, as well. Heist is quite a few ice maps which make Brawl even better, and with the addition of that extra damage for Hypercharge, it makes him even more menacing. So for me, Brawl is definitely one of the most improved. Okay, so now moving on to the brawlers that have probably fell off the most within the game right now. We're starting off with Pennies. So if I was to make a tier list right now, I would honestly put her at the D tier because of how much she has fell off. She was only banned / picked once inside of competitive right now. That just goes to show how incredibly weak she is. So I just think like a lot of nerfs really did catch up to her, but not only that, she just can't keep up with the amount of tanks right now. She deals basically no damage. Her kit just doesn't allow her to counter tanks like she used to. The old salty barrel, she could destroy tanks, but after the nerf, I feel like it's pretty evident how easy it is to take control of her. And also, there's just throwers that can just destroy her turret pretty quickly, and there's just a lot of brawlers that can outrange her as well in the mid. So for me, Penny definitely has fallen off the most. She used to be an S tier, one of the best brawlers in the game, and now probably one of the worst brawlers in the game. So now jumping into one of the brawlers that has fell off the most within the meta right now, we have Mr. P. So Mr. P, about I'd say 4 months ago or so, was actually really strong. Just out of nowhere, he became the go-to pick just because of how the meta around him was. It was really weird because he only got like a HP buff. I think as time has gone on, he has been slowly going down within the rankings, and that's just shown in competitive because he was like in, I would say, about the 40th most picked / banned brawler, which you got to bear in mind, he used to be like a consistent A tier brawler, so he's completely fell down. Again, I just think it's the likes of Fang, Buster, Rosa, just being able to run into a Mr. P so quickly is one of his biggest weaknesses. And also, even if you go onto ladder, there's of course 6 hypercharged brawlers, you know, brawlers like Jackie, Bull, all of these are fast-paced brawlers, and the extra movement speed from a hypercharge makes it even harder for Mr. P to really do anything. So for me, he probably is near the C tier. He has really fallen off. Okay, so jumping into probably the most surprising one, to be honest, because I used to think that he was always one of the best brawlers in the game. It is Gus. So Gus has fell off so much. He's actually in the bottom, I think 15 or 20 in terms of the pick / ban rate in competitive. He was only picked or banned at 3 times, so just going to show how much he's fallen off. So I feel like there's a few reasons as to why he's fallen off so much. So the first one is going to be buffs to Piper and Nanny. So beforehand on Knockout and Bounty, you could pretty much just go Gus all the time because he would be able to counter those sharpshooters with 2 taps and a gadget, for example. But now I feel like with how hard Nanny and Piper hits, Gus just can't win that engagement anymore. And then if you want to play Gus on other game modes, I don't know, as like a mid or a gem carrier, well, a mid in Brawl or a gem carrier, he's just hasn't got that kind of oomph in him anymore with all of his tanks just running all over him. So I think that's what's really pushed him down in the rankings. Again, really surprised me, but he's quite easily, I would say, like a B or even C tier brawler right now. So now jumping into another brawler that has really fell off, it is Ash. So I think for some time now, within the past 6 months or so, Ash has really just not packed the same punch that he used to. He only got a small HP nerf actually a few updates ago, but I just think the meta around him just really hasn't complimented him too much, and I was probably being a little bit too nice on his rankings. I would say even a couple of months ago he should have been towards the B tier. So right now I would say he's near the C tier, considering he's always been like an S tier or an A tier brawler. I feel like he's just not being played at all in competitive. Only a few reasons to really pick an Ash, and there's just so many counters for him right now with so many like Nitas, so many M's in the meta right now, and even his fellow tanks like Rosa can just run all over Ash. So for me, he's fallen off a lot in the rankings, and he definitely is towards the middle of the pack. So now jumping into the last brawler, which I think has fell off the most within the meta right now, we have Gene. So Gene, of course, one of my favorite brawlers in the game. I'm always a little bit biased, but for me, he has fell off quite a lot. So already with, well, a couple of months ago, I was starting to realize that Gene just really wasn't as strong as he used to be with Mr. P coming into the game. But now with Gray just kind of taking over Gene's role, I don't know, Gene just doesn't really do the same for me. Also, you got to consider as well, because of all the power 11 changes and stuff like that, his star power magic puffs doesn't actually get the same value with his healing as he used to, and that was the main reason why Gene was being used. So just for the time being, he isn't really the greatest because Magic Puffs doesn't really have the value that it used to have. But as I said, like, you'd rather, I would say, you know, for example, if you go on Bell's Rock, I'd rather just go a grey with 4 walking canes to get that pull through like a wall, then having to wait literally 2 rounds to get your gene pull. It takes forever. And not only that, again, in those kind of passive game modes like Knockout and Bounty, the likes of Piper and Nanny getting buffed has really hurt Gene because he just gets stomped all over right now. So that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. Let me know who you think are the most improved brawlers within the game right now, also the brawlers that have really fell off. And yeah, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.